So I heard your anger, I heard your frustration, but I must say, having come here a couple of times and seen the church, seen the accommodation, spoke to some of the people, see them at play, see them interacting, it's quite calm here. There's a sense of peace. People are relaxed. They seem very much at home. How were you able to create that atmosphere given the trauma that's involved here?
It's the power of love. It's the power of unadulterated love. That I don't have to know you to love you. I don't have to know your situation and circumstance to have compassion. So it was really the power of love. The Bible that I believe in says that love covers a multitude of sins. And so if you can love someone from the purest sense, it can cover their pain, it can cover their sorrow, it can speak to their wounds, and, you know, it can give them a sense of hope. You know, I always say that where there is life, there is hope. And that's what we wanted to instill within them. It's not perfect. And even what we provided here is less, much less than what you deserve. But it's a step in the right direction. And my determination, our determination as an organization, the Beautiful Foundation, was that when we are still determined to set them up for success, they will leave here knowing the strength of their person, knowing the strength of their mind and their spirit, the tenacity, so that whatever comes down the road, they'll be able to speak to it with a level of strength. Because we've told them from the day that they got here that they're kings and that they're queens. And that what the enemy of their life meant for evil, God will turn it around for their good. And those systems will become their footstool. And the same people that chose to shut the door on them will be begging for their service. Because they're brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Care to tell us a little bit more about the foundation? So you had a foundation set up for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
I suppose you had to pivot in order to engage in this. But tell us about the foundation a little bit more, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So the Beautiful Foundation was founded 15 years ago. I started it in a time where I was, again, witnessing women trapped in domestic violence situations, children being affected, vulnerable families, you know, facing horrific circumstances and not having a way out. And so we partnered with a few shelters across the city. And because you can be a part of this work and not have a heart for it. You can do it because, you know, social work is such a broad umbrella. But I recognize that there are a lot of people that are working in these spaces but don't have a real compassion for people. And so the foundation, we started working many, many years before we actually became established as a charitable organization, working alongside them, making sure that these women felt empowered while still in the shelter system, that their children felt loved. And so for over 15 years, we were bringing them, going into their spaces and telling them they're beautiful. Now these women were trapped, not just, I mean, they had bruises on their face, bruises on their bodies. They are survivors of substance abuse, you know, people who lived on the street for many years because they couldn't do anything better for themselves. And so we came in relationship with them, and for 15 years we would go into their spaces and tell them that they're beautiful. And so let's say that I was a woman who was trapped, I was an alcoholic. And so for years in that space, I would say, hi, my name is Judith, and I'm an alcoholic. I want to change that narrative. And so they start to say, hi, my name is Judith, and I'm beautiful. Oh boy. And because I think if you can condition the mind, you can condition the soul and the spirit. It'll follow suit. And so for those years, we would pick them up by limousine We would bring them over to Yorkville, Azan Salon, and he just passed away this past year, just a few days ago. And we would bring them into his salon, a black-owned salon, and he opened his doors to us. We didn't have to pay to go into his space, and we did a complete beauty makeover on these women. And we told them the reason why we're doing this, it's not to just make your outer appearance beautiful, but when you feel better, when you can look into the mirror and you can see something, you know, again, the spirit will follow suit. And so we help them with counseling on the spot, resume writing. You know, we prepared them for the next steps of their life. And now these women are doing phenomenally well. You know, gone back to university, have a new outlook on life, determination. And so we've been doing that. And so we had to, like you said, pivot the mandate and to ensure that anyone, any person that has had their human dignity stripped away at the hand of another person, or even by your own hand, because you're at a low in your life, your today doesn't have to determine your tomorrow, right? But you can use your circumstances of your past and of your today to catapult you into higher heights, to greater successes. It just takes someone to have compassion, to journey alongside you, and refocus you to understand your greatness. It's not me making you great. It's me making you recognize the greatness within.
And you see the results?
I do. It works. I see the results, been seeing the results. Over the 15 years, one of the ladies that we worked with, she's now the ambassador of the organization. And her story is her why. So it's crazy what these people go through. She was on the bridge of 401, about to jump off. And she cried out to God and said, I'm going to give you one more chance. The next day, the Beautiful Foundation walked into her shelter and told her she was beautiful. Come on.
Perfect.
Come on.
So people drive past this church time. It's a big thoroughfare. You see the church, you see the cross. They don't know what goes on here, basically, and they don't appreciate the transformative work that you're doing here and that your community is doing. What would you say to those who are, should we say, neutral? They're not engaged. They don't really understand what you're doing. What would you say to them? Do you have a message for them?
Yeah, message for, just so I understand, message for those who don't understand the work of the church, or, especially now, the church has been viewed, if you're not compliant with everything that's going on in society, you're looked at those who hate. You're looked at those who have this judgmental stance and that, it's heaven or hell, that we rule with this iron fist. But the truth is, Jesus was the greatest social activist of all time. He was rarely in the church or in the temple. He was in the boat, telling people that you could be fishers of men. He was walking alongside the prostitute, saying your tomorrow can be greater. He was healing the sick. He wasn't among the rich. He wasn't among the polished. He was making sure that the everyday average person or the sinner recognized their worth. And so for too long, the church has been looked at as insignificant or judgmental, or people who think that they're perfect. We recognize that we are nothing without God. We recognize that we are sinners that are saved only by His grace. And so to live a life and not be a social activist, to live a life and not have compassion for those who are naked or hungry or who are bound in the mind or imprisoned behind bars. To not have compassion is not be human to me. And so the church is an active organism for change. It's a walking cathedral. It's a mobilized body determined to carry passion, love,